What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dog Pound Discussions. I am Derek, and I have a very special guest with me today. I have somebody who captivated America, someone who, created a once-in-a-lifetime, for some, opportunity. Uh, the man who caused the eclipse, Tony Battaglio, stepped out of his
Oh
attic
my
and
God!
and created a spectacle for the country of the United States of America. So I was able to pull this off, getting him on. The man who changed a whole
I hate
day.
you. I hate you. I hate you.
I should throw this out here. Photo credit to
Hate you.
More For You Cleveland. A member of More For You Cleveland's brother is the one who took that
Why?
photo. It's a beautiful, beautiful image of you, Tony, stepping out of your living area. So I just wanted to, acknowledge you publicly for your service that you did this past week on Monday. Or no, well, I guess, yeah, it's been a little about a week ago now. So yeah, with that being said, Tony, aside from what you did that great event, how are you doing, sir?
I'm literally laughing so hard I'm crying.
Well, first of all, can we take a pause for the cause here and show the people your shirt? We have to start it off.
R.I.P.
So I just wanted to
Anyways,
start off on the right note there.
anyways, they don't. Derek does not tell me this stuff is gonna happen. I have no idea
No,
what the intro is gonna be every week. I just get something new every week, and I guess it's better than what I thought it was gonna be. Derek, what are you crinkling around under the desk there? You're making the podcast sound awful here,
I'll
buddy.
set it
But
down. It's a story for
anyways,
later.
I don't know what these
Prick.
intros are going to be, so I am just surprised each and every week at this. I have no words. You're going to run out eventually, so
No.
I'm just biding my time.
Listen, there's
But
plenty of
anyways,
big things to compare you to. Don't worry.
we took the week off last week. If you didn't notice, I don't know why. I think we were all just busy, and it's the off season, and there's nothing to talk about right now. But we have 2 weeks of news compiled for you, and I guess let's start it off with some news about food, because who doesn't love food? Obviously, me and Derek eat enough of it. But Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson opened a cheesesteak restaurant in Cleveland, which you could see many of your favorite Twitter faces there, like Chops, who looked like his cheeks were about to explode because he probably ate like 35 of them. But, Derek, are you going to go try the restaurant next time you're up this way? I kind of
Uh,
want to try it next time I'm in Cleveland.
no.
You're not gonna?
You ain't gonna catch me there unless you're paying. I'm broke. I ain't paying. Um,
Maybe we'll
it,
take a date. Maybe we'll take a trip after you come up here in a couple weeks. Maybe we'll just go on
yeah.
a little adventure.
I think Tony just asked me out on a date. Tony, I'm
Yeah,
not a free agent.
Derek, I'll
Um,
take you out on a date. That's fine. We can go on a
um,
date anytime, man.
odd train. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, I think it is what it is. It's Deshaun attempting to do something in the community. Good thing. Although I will say the press from that was hilarious. Like there's a video, I can't remember who it was, Deshaun and somebody, and then you just see Chop's fat ass waddle out of the way real fast. It was or real slow, I should say. It was hilarious, but all in all, good for Deshaun trying to get something going. And yeah, I ain't gonna try it unless somebody wants to take me there. So leave it
I'm
at
I'm
that.
down. 2 weeks. I'm down. We'll make a trip. I'm
Where is
okay
it?
with that. Somewhere in Cleveland. I'm not exactly entirely sure. Hold on. Let me Google where this place is at. Because
Lefty's Cheesesteak. So what was the inspiration with that name? Because I'd understand it if Deshaun was a lefty. But it's not actually his, is it? He's like a
uh,
co-owner or something?
I'm not exactly sure how what exactly the details are surrounding it. It is in Cleveland Heights, weirdly enough.
Hmm. Interesting.
Same place Travis and Jason Kelsey are from, I believe, right?
Oh,
Not. Yeah, yeah. I'm correct on that, I believe.
Yeah, I know where
Oh,
that's at.
what, Derek?
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm just thinking I know where that's at because I've been by that high school. But anyway, on some
So moving,
you want to do it or you want me to do it?
I'll do it, Derek. We're
Go
talking about
ahead.
food. We're all
I
discombobulated.
understand. Yeah, we talk about food and you just want to keep running your mouth. Go ahead.
Blah blah blah. Why don't you use both of your hands, Derek?
Hmm.
So some some on the field news. Isaiah Simmons signs with the New York Giants. Another, potential linebacker target. I was hoping the Browns would target after we did not get Jerome Baker, but unfortunately that was not the case. He's with New York now and maybe wanted to play in the limelight, hang out in New York City, go play games in New Jersey, whatever. Missed opportunity by the Cleveland Browns. Still not sure how I feel about our linebacking core. Definitely a glaring issue, at least to me, going into the season. So, Derek, how do you feel about the situation?
Yeah, I mean, the Isaiah Simmons um campaign, if you want to call it that, has come to an end, unfortunately. I don't know. I mean, I didn't even see what he signed for. I can't imagine it's that much, but again, it's a linebacker who's uber athletic. You haven't seen the potential that he came into the NFL with. You could have got him cheap and you didn't do anything and sat on your hands. I mean, it's another example of, as you mentioned, a missed opportunity. And like I said when we talked about the Devin Bush signing, I think Andrew Berry's done. I think he is either set at linebacker or there's going to be a situation come late April, early May, similar to how when we got Zadarius Smith, where it becomes available and he finds a way to trade for him. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have answers. I can't give you any names, but I'll tell you what I said when we signed Devin Bush. If this is what we're rolling with, we're in trouble because it's JOK and uh, Jordan Hicks. That's all. That is all we have. So you
We
better
got
hope
Tony
it works
Fields.
out.
Don't forget
Yeah,
about Tony Fields.
but what has he done? What has he shown? You know, it's it's just disappointing. It's disappointing to see us sit on our hands. But AB's AB. Hopefully he'll do something, but who knows? It's hard to tell.
I can
So
agree with that. So, perhaps some even bigger news. Stefon Diggs was traded to the Houston Texans, and that is a massive get for Houston and CJ Stroud, next to hopefully a recovered and healthy Tank Dell. And Houston could really be a threat in the AFC next season. Derek, what's your thoughts on the Stephon Diggs news? I'll let you go first on this one.
yeah, so I think this is a rare best situation for both sides. I think Buffalo needed to get Diggs out last year. Like I think he is the new Odell Beckham Jr. I have no problem saying that. I think he's a cancer. But with that being said, he's still a talented player. He just doesn't show up in big games. He's still talented though. And when you look at what the Texans did and you break it down, they traded a 2025 second, so not this year. It's a 2025 second, which is important. And they found a way to waive the remaining 3 years of his contract, increase his guaranteed money, and he's going to become a free agent. So essentially, what the Texans did is say, all right, we're going to rent Stefon Diggs for a year and see what happens. They don't have any long term investment in him. There's nothing that really ties them to him or forcing them to keep him if it doesn't work out. I think this is a great move for the Texans because you could add an elite receiver, or if it doesn't work out, you get rid of him. And then for the Buffalo Bills, I think they kind of got screwed as far as what they got back. But you got rid of a guy who has not been reliable for you when you need him. He's had his own problems off the field as far as attitude and distractions. And this is a loaded receiver draft. Buffalo can go get some more receivers, trade for Ayuk, call Cincy about T. Higgins, go get somebody else. Stefon Diggs is not the guy that you want to invest your future in. But I don't know, Tony. I felt like it was good for both teams. A lot of good things. How did you feel about it?
I definitely share that same sentiment. I think it's a great trade for both Buffalo and Houston. It's a nice rental for Houston until someone else comes along, potentially in the draft or potentially through the trade market. Again, yes, Buffalo needed to move on from Stefon Diggs. It was time. You just lose Ken Dorsey as your OC. You're going to have a little bit of a couple different tweaks to the offense potentially. And again, Diggs is not a guy that really shows up in big games. And it gives Buffalo an opportunity kind of to reinvent themselves or reinvent Josh Allen and give him a new number one guy to throw to in the future. And definitely, again, one of those deals that long term and short term is going to work out for both teams. Uh, if it doesn't work out in Houston, at least he's only on the books for this season. Houston can move on after this upcoming season if they want. I think it's great. And speaking of the Buffalo Bills, some unfortunate news with our next topic.
Is it?
Legendary legendary NFL running back and acquitted celebrity. We'll just leave it at that so the YouTube censors don't pick this up. OJ Simpson has passed away. Now, regardless of how you feel about OJ Simpson off the field, he was a hell of an athlete on the field, incredible running back, incredible professional career, and we here at Dog Pound Discussions would just like to, pay our thoughts and respects to the family and anyone associated with OJ Simpson. Keep driving that white Bronco into heaven. Rest in peace, King.
I got some bad news for you. I think that Bronco crashed. I listen. It's funny. Like, it's not funny that he died, but looking at just this whole thing with OJ, right? How he just like you, Tony, in a single day captivated America. OJ with his chase was like the biggest thing. I mean, I don't even know when it happened, so I don't even know if I was alive, but um
No.
for someone who had such a hold on a nation for his situation that happened, and then a guy who's a great football player, and now he's not gonna be remembered for playing football. And another thing, the story of OJ is fascinating because he did countless interviews where people called him a murderer. He he made jokes about it. There's the book, but also most important thing, or at least the thing that gets thrown under the radar, OJ Simpson's Twitter account
Yeah.
needs to be
Hello,
just
Twitter world.
yeah, his Twitter needs to be studied, documented, and just kept in a vault for all of
The
mankind.
the top two accounts on Twitter, the Iron Sheik and OJ
Yeah,
Simpson.
the Iron Sheik. Oh, I mean,
Rest in peace to both of the legends.
it's just weird. It's weird because a lot of times in most situations when people die, it's very sad. Obviously, we had like Bray Wyatt pass away, and that was heartbreaking. And yeah, it's not funny, Tony, but
I'm not laughing at Bray Wyatt. I'm laughing at the fact that Caitlyn Jenner tweeted, you know, goodbye or see you or something. Well, Caitlyn Jenner has also unalived another human being. So the irony is the irony.
Mhm.
And
Technically two. No, I'm just kidding.
speaking of the speaking of the Kardashian Jenner family, thoughts go out to Chloe. The rumors of OJ potentially being her father are out in the, Twitter. We'll call it the Twitter sphere. But yeah, like you were saying, Derek, sometimes when people die, it's upsetting. Yeah, like Brody Lee, Bray Wyatt,
Mhm.
things that just came out of nowhere. And
Yeah.
yes, OJ's death came out of nowhere, surprised a lot of people. And I think that's more of the shock factor about it, is people are upset because of how surprising it was. But unfortunate circumstances, regardless of whatever side of the trial or, whatever opinion you have of OJ Simpson. Unfortunate for everyone involved in the situation, going all the way back to the incident that happened, all the way back to now this, his
Did you
passing.
did you know he had cancer? Because I had no idea.
I had no idea either.
Yeah.
And cancer is a awful disease that takes a lot of good people way too soon. Derek? Would you like to?
It's not a false statement what you just said, but the context of the statement is fascinating. Let's move on from the Bronco to someone who does not play for the Broncos. He plays for the 49ers. Brandon
For now.
Ayuk. Yeah, for now. There are rumors of Brandon Ayuk getting traded. I feel like this has been ongoing for a long time now. Um, and allegedly the rumors of Brandon Ayuk to the Pittsburgh Steelers are heating up. So, Tony, he scrubbed the 49ers off of his social media. This has become a common occurrence, so I don't look too much into that personally. But all in all, is Brandon Ayuk stuff still going on? Do you think he gets traded? What do you think happens with Ayuk?
So I think we see this a lot. Everyone freaks out. Professional athletes scrubbing teams off their social media is not exactly a rare occurrence. And if I could touch back to our last topic, since we're talking about controversial NFL players, I know Jim Brown and OJ are making up one hell of a running back tandem in hell right now. And Satan's got a loaded. We're gonna have to cut this.
We're doing a
Anyways,
Browns podcast, and you're talking about the best Cleveland Brown of all time.
awful
In that
human
way.
being, good football player, both true.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Anyways, back to Brandon Ayuk. Shut up, Derek. Back to Brandon Ayuk. I don't know. I hope he doesn't go to the Steelers. That would irritate me to my core. I mean, that's not good for us. I really hope he stays far away from Pittsburgh or Cincinnati or Baltimore or any AFC team, really. I'd prefer he stayed in the NFC. And then one crazy rumor going around is that, the Steelers might throw Russell Wilson in this trade package. They just got him. Like, what are you going to – how? I can't see that happening. I'd see maybe them trading Justin Fields. I don't know. I couldn't see them getting rid of Russ. They seem to be all in on Russell Wilson, but obviously I don't see them trading either of them. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this is all a ploy for Brandon Ayuk to get more money from the 49ers at some point, and I think it'll work. I can't see the 49ers letting go of him. They use him like a Swiss Army knife, essentially, much like they do McCaffrey and Samuel, and their whole offense can do so much. And I think they'll end up paying out. I don't think he's coming to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, the rumor of Russell Wilson being involved in a trade package is comedy gold because it's like it makes no sense for either side. Like if you're Pittsburgh, don't you want to see if one of the two quarterbacks can be successful for you? A. And then B, if you're the 49ers, what do you want to do with Russell Wilson? Like Brock Purdy, I know he gets hated on a lot for multiple different reasons, some being unrelated to football, but it's like the dude is a good quarterback. He's just not the flashy playmaker, like the quarterbacks that everybody wants to love. He's not that. He's just great at his job. And why you would, and he's young. He's on a rookie contract, Mr. Relevant. Why would you want to bring in a guy in Russell Wilson who not necessarily to the fault of his own, but he's going to bring nothing but controversy. Nothing but controversy, nothing but media attention and hype. Like, it makes no sense at all. But, Tony, something that makes a ton of sense, at least for the Cleveland Browns, that is, Nicholas Jamal Chubb has had his contract restructured, all but guaranteeing that he will be on the Cleveland Browns the 2024 NFL season. We knew this. There were idiots on Twitter and on social media saying, oh, where's Nick Chubb going? Well, guess what? He ain't going anywhere. So,
Yeah, no.
Tony, Browns restructure him. He's going to be here. What say you on the whole ordeal?
Nick Chubb was never leaving Cleveland, and I said this, I'm pretty sure what was back on our very first episode. If the Cleveland Browns would have cut Nick Chubb, Cleveland, Ohio would have looked like January 6th. And I wholeheartedly mean that because Browns fans would have been, I shouldn't say Cleveland, I'll say Berea, that's where the facilities are. But yeah, Cleveland would have been a mess. They would have had fans protesting. They would have been bad. It would have been awful. There's no way they could have got rid of Nick Chubb. He's given so much to this franchise, and speaking of Jim Brown, I think he's better than Jim Brown. I think he's a better running back than Jim Brown.
Well,
Maybe that's a
that's
controversial comment. I don't know. I don't care. Nick Chubb's the greatest player to ever put on a Cleveland Browns uniform, as far as I'm
that's certainly a hot take to say the least.
concerned. Absolutely.
Um, but I'm happy that Chubb is restructured. The question I have more so is I can't remember if he has 1 year or 2 years left on his contract. I want to say he's got one more season. Um, and if they're restructuring, normally a contract restructure is, for lack of better words, kicking the can down the road. Is essentially what it is. Now you're gonna get some money up front, signing bonus, all those things. But for instance, Jerry Judy was a recent one. His restructure
Jed
was,
Wills as well.
yeah, his restructure was very affordable, like 3-4 years in a row. Or no, he signed a for it. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, very affordable cap hits as far as the majority of the years. And then the last season, $28 million was the hit. So essentially, what you're saying with that is, okay, we're gonna make you affordable, kick the big chunk of it down the road, and then at that point, hey, we can extend you. We can figure out how to work that. So with Nick Chubb, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but with him being restructured, it's going to make it easier for the Browns to extend him. Is kind of how I look at that. Do you disagree with that at all?
I don't disagree with that at all. And I think Chubb he's a guy that at this point, I can't make that comparison. But anyways, yeah, Nick Chubb is a guy that probably needs to stay on this roster. And I just can't see him being let go anytime soon. I really think he'll still play a role in the upcoming season, even if it's down to the point where he's just mentoring the young running backs. He's a valuable piece of this team, and I'd hate to see him go. So
Yeah.
I hope he's a Cleveland Brown for the rest of his career.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's the one play. There's like two players on the Browns that I need to retire. Well, three. Three players on the Browns that I need to retire Cleveland Brown. Nick Chubb, Miles Garrett. You want to take a flyer on who you think the other one is?
Offense or defense?
Offense. And it's not the obvious. It's not Joe Batonio because he's going to retire at Brown. It's not Wyatt Teller.
Amari Cooper?
David Njoku.
Njoku, yeah.
I think he's kind of really, I guess, molded himself into being a Cleveland Brown. Like, he was somebody who, like, requested a trade at one point, contract arguments, all those sorts of things. And the next thing you know, bam, he's re-signed, and now he's playing like one of the best tight ends in football. Like I want him to remain. I think he has the mentality. He's a great player. I love Njoku.
I think a lot of people forget that. He really did not want to be in Cleveland anymore during the tail end of the Baker
Hmm.
Mayfield era.
Yeah, and I mean, can you really blame him? He at the time, David Njoku, it didn't really seem like for him it was all the best fit. But now, after he's gotten his contract extension, you understand that David Njoku was
Yeah.
the right fit, the perfect fit for the Cleveland Browns. So, Tony, something
Well, now,
sounds
I would like
what?
to, before we go into this, David
Oh,
Njoku is a guy who
damn it.
got huge burns and then still suited up that very same weekend. Much like Derek's bravery. Derek burnt his hand earlier because he's dumb and things are hot, and he's like, I'm gonna put my hand on it. I mean, I'm not gonna make that joke on camera, but anyways, yeah, Derek, very very brave of you to do this podcast. Like it was brave of David Njoku to still play football after burning himself at his house trying to start a fire. But you said the word fit, and speaking of finding your fit, let's all find our fit at TwoOneFits. And TwoOneFits.com, Browns, Cavs, Guards, Lake Erie merch, City of Cleveland merch, anything you could possibly want. Dog bowls, dog bandanas, hoodies, shirts, hats. I feel like there's so much that I'm missing. Flags? Maybe there's flags. I could be wrong.
Dog bowls, towels.
Dog bowls, yeah. towels. DF Sports merch. Yeah, don't forget that. Can't forget the DF Sports merch. I don't need it because I have it already. It's just in ink and permanently on my skin. But
Disclaimer,
anyways,
2OneFits does not sell the Juices Loose t-shirt. That is not available on 2OneFits.com. However, the new Jameis Winston Dub Eating t-shirt is now available on 2OneFits.com. Get yours today.
eat some dubs. Anyways, 2onefits.com. Check it out. Buy some merch. Support the brand. Great owner. Yeah, 2onefits.com. That's the gist of it. Anyways, I believe Jacob is going to be jumping in now for our next segment. Our lovely, lovely producer, who he's actually. You need to turn your camera on. I feel like because you got to show the people your really nice beard that you've grown
Yeah.
within the last week and a half.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I've been trying my whole life, and this man, we go away from 2 weeks, and all of a sudden he looks like a caveman. What's up with this?
Well, I will be remaining in the background, and I will not be showing the beard this time because I'm also probably going to shave it in the next few days. Anyway,
No.
what is up, grilled cheese lovers? I got a great segment here for you guys.
Which, by the way, I discovered, side note real fast, do you know what is sold on the Starbucks menu, Tony? Grilled cheese. So, you make fun of me because I go to Starbucks, which is right next to my work, so it's convenient. Leave me alone. Meanwhile, you have your most favorite coveted food item on the menu. Sold. It's grilled cheese on a sourdough bread. So you don't have to go talk to Randy. You don't have to get that Speedway grilled cheese. Starbucks has it for you. Don't know where Tony went.
I'll
but...
say I think he may have just quit the podcast, which is an advantage to you because,
this podcast just got a lot better. Let's go.
I mean, yeah, I made,
Go to hell. Go to hell.
So I made this a while ago, so I'm not gonna lie. I don't exactly remember who's on this.
Oh no.
Who these tweets are from. But I do know that Tony is up 1-0 on this little segment that we're doing. Yeah, that's right. I'm keeping score.
I think he cheated. I really do, because he said he had seen the tweet before. So I had not, just to be fair.
Well, there's a good chance both of you have seen this tweet because in addition to kind of the eclipse, this a bit of an eclipse-themed answer here. So, yeah, I have a question. Why have we've never seen the eclipse from outer space? Well, I mean, we know the answer now thanks to the intro to this podcast. But yeah, who's the athlete? It is a football player this time.
Oh, it's a football player. Can we get can we ask like 3 hints or something?
Yeah, I got some hints.
All right. Do you want to just take a flyer, Tony, or you want to get hints first?
We'll take the hints.
Okay. AFC or NFC?
NFC.
Offense or defense?
Offense.
What division?
God damn, that's embarrassing. I gotta think about it. NFC East.
NFC East. Offensive player, NFC East.
Saquon Barkley.
I was about to say Barkley's not in the East, but yeah, he is. He's went from one East team to another. I feel like you already know this one too, but I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna guess spelled wrong. I'm gonna guess Darren Waller.
Darren Waller is not the answer, and neither is Saquon Barkley. But Tony, you were closest. It was a Philadelphia Eagle legend, former Tennessee Titan legend, AJ Brown.
You're close, damn.
Why is he? He popped in my head too, but I was like, there's no way.
Where did he go to college?
Ole
I cannot
Miss.
think of it right now. Did he go to Ole Miss?
Him and Metcalf were at Ole Miss at the same time.
That explains the spelling mistake.
Anyway, moving on. A classic. I just gave a squirrel a piece of bread and it straight smashed all of it. I had no idea they ate bread like that. Haha, hashtag crazy.
Is this football or?
Oh, this is football player. Future Hall of Famer.
Future Hall of Famer?
What division?
AFC.
AFC. Can we get a position group or no?
AFC what? Hold on, yeah. AFC North.
AFC
East,
West.
West.
if I gave you a position, you'd get it instantly.
Instantly.
So I won't give you that hint.
Did you say offense or defense yet?
Offense.
Offense. So AFC
Travis,
West.
there's no way that's not Travis Kelce.
Yeah, that's a good guess. I don't want to guess the same as you, though, because I feel like that's kind of cheating. So, if you gave position, it would be obvious. I'm just going to go... I'll go quarterback. I'll say Mahomes. I don't think it is, but...
Mahomes is wrong, but Kelce is correct.
Yeah.
Let's go.
If you go back into his tweets from like early in his career, they are insane. Like just how stupid they are.
Sounds about right.
All right, so yeah, that's a point for Tony. This is
What?
not a football player. Just simply take a look, y'all, and then a JPEG. Just
What
type it out
sport?
as JPEG, not even the actual image.
See, it's funny. I sent that same thing to Tony one time. I'm just kidding. Is it
This is
basketball?
No, he is a TV personality, but in sports.
T.A.
It's
Capital.
Stephen A. It's Stephen A. Smith.
I'm gonna go Shannon Sharp. Let's go Uncle Shannon.
Hey, Tony is on a roll.
I'm the GOAT.
It is Stephen A. Smith.
See, I want you all to understand, this is what it's like for somebody who has a job and somebody who can spend all day on
whatever.
Twitter.
Yep. What do I look like? Never mind.
I know what you were about to say.
Never mind.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, yeah, so that brings Tony to a 2-0 lead. I don't know what the hell is going to happen with these point totals. I'll invent something year from now. I don't fucking know. Anyway, so yeah, that was it for It Came From X. We'll see if this segment continues into next week. Until then, bye.
Bye. All right, so we are back after another episode of Tony cheating on It Came From X. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so draft season is in pissing distance. Or I shouldn't even say season. It's draft season. We're well in the heart of it.
Yeah,
but the draft is right around the corner. And what we wanted to do today is take a look at the 2023 NFL draft for the Cleveland Browns. Talk about the guys we picked, how their season went, and also kind of take a quick look as far as what you think they can do next season. So let's kick it off here. The Browns, remember, traded back from their second-round draft pick to pick 74. Got Elijah Moore in return for it. At the time, that seemed like a great deal. Debatable.
Was not.
Debatable on what you think on Elijah Moore.
Not worth it. Not worth it yet.
Yeah, so we'll see on him. But the man that we decided to pick with the third-round selection, pick 74, one Cedric Tillman, wide receiver out of the University of Tennessee. Tony, I'll let you go first. Cedric Tillman.
So, decent production out of Tillman. Definitely a breakout candidate this season. Bright future. 609 snaps, 42 targets, hauled in half of his targets, 21 catches, 224 yards, 10.7 yards a catch, and 26.4 passer rating. When targeted, not a lot to go off of because he wasn't really throwing the football a lot when you have guys like Cooper and Njoku out there. And but bright future ahead. I think I'm yawning again. First time this podcast actually might be a record.
How many times have you
anyways.
taken a drink there?
I don't know. A lot.
Yeah, exactly. There you go again.
Hot, Derek. I'm fat, and it's like mid-April. It gets hot. Anyways, yeah, bright future out of Tillman. I see him having a much better season this upcoming year. Great pick for where we got him, in my opinion. I think he's going to be a superstar, and I think he, at this point, if he makes another solid progression this upcoming season. I think that means that David Bell is on his way out. Very excited for what Cedric Tillman can do this upcoming season. I thought he was great in limited time last season. And, it's a good thing when you don't have third-round draft picks that have to play a lot. Even though he did play a lot, he wasn't really called upon a lot, which is a very good thing. Despite all the injuries we had, we really didn't get hit hard in the wide receiver room long-term, thankfully. But, I think it'll be great this season. I'm very happy with the selection of Cedric Tillman. As for our next guy,
Well, hold on.
Siaki. Oh, okay. Sorry, Derek. I forgot.
Asshole.
I'll let you. I apologize, Derek.
Unreal. So
Unreal. Go ahead, talk.
Go take another drink again, so I get some free advertisement on your arm. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, Cedric Tillman. Listen. Couple key points here. A, he was hurt coming into the year. He got injured his last season at Tennessee. Right? Everybody remembers Jalen Hyatt being the popular receiver there for the Tennessee Volunteers. And listen, before he got hurt, Tillman was balling. Tillman was averaging, I want to say, like close to 15, 16 yards per attempt. So basically his average depth of target was well beyond a first down. And, he produced at a high level. He looked really, really good. He gets hurt, right? This is a guy who you didn't really know what he was going to be year one. The Browns trade Donovan Peoples-Jones. And did Tillman live up to expectations? No, he did not. But here's what I'll say. For Tillman going forward, I think he has potential to be a really, really good receiver. Problem becomes his little things, right? Route running, development, those sort of things. How is he going to produce there? Second biggest thing, what happens in the draft this year? Because Cedric Tillman is your ex-receiver. That's why we traded DPJ. So, if the Browns go out and they get a Keon Coleman, fingers crossed, then what happens with Tillman? Then his position kind of gets devalued a little bit. So, I think if Tillman gets playing time, he'll be better. But there is certainly a situation where he's not going to be the number one X receiver. So, I'll leave it at that. Don't judge him solely based on this past year. That is not fair. But continue.
Well, moving on to our next player, Siaki Ika out of Baylor. 103 snaps, 1 pressure, no sacks, 1 tackle, 50% missed tackle rate. Now, here's my problem with this. I was hoping to see more out of Siaki Ika. Very much inactive this season, plenty of healthy scratches. But there is no reason that big motherfucker you see on your screen right there should have a 50% missed tackle rate. Buddy, you are the size of an LG refrigerator. Wrap them up and bring them to the ground. You should not be missing that many tackles. Sorry. But I don't want to say I'm disappointed yet because it's too early to judge, but I'd love to see more out of him this year. I didn't see enough last season.
Yeah, I mean, he just didn't play. He didn't play all year.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the hardest part about the whole thing is I don't know if he's going to play this year because the Browns bring back Shelby Harris, Mo Hurst. They signed Quentin Jefferson. Dalvin Tomlinson's already there. There's this possibility they draft somebody if like a Mike Hall Jr. is there. They might pick him. Listen, Ika has promise. He plays a role for sure. I just don't know what happens with him. I'll be honest. This is the one player from this draft that I look at and I'm like, ooh, don't really know how you fit in all this. So that's my thoughts on Siaki Ika.
So moving on to perhaps the biggest guy we've got in this draft outside of Tillman and DTR, maybe. It's even arguably still DeJuan Jones, who stepped in and was an incredible offensive tackle this season. Over 700 snaps, only 21 pressures allowed, and only 3 sacks allowed. And he kind of shut down TJ Watt in that game. I was very happy with what we got from DeJuan Jones. I really think he is the future tackle, either on the right or left side of our offensive line. Great pick. And to get a guy in the hundreds that can step in and be your starting tackle from virtually day one, given the circumstances, I have 0 complaints about DeJuan Jones. That's, as of right now, best pick from that draft.
Oh, absolutely. A plus plus pick. I didn't like the pick when we got him. I was very concerned about the off the field stuff. His size and his effort was a big story. And listen, it was real. Coming into camp for the Browns, he couldn't finish light days. And he was throwing up, and everybody was like, this ain't looking great. But he got it together, figured it out, and played great. So, listen, you mentioned it. He's the long term starter at right tackle for sure. Jack Conklin can't stay healthy. I wouldn't be surprised if he's moved. And yeah, you got that guy with a fourth round draft pick. That is an absolute steal. And like you said, TJ Watt is the best as far as outside of Myles Garrett within the division. Made him look like a joke. And I'll argue with Steelers fans all day long. He bodied him consistently. So
Absolutely.
when you get that guy in the fourth round, that's an absolute steal.
I would just like to point out Jack Conklin to me has become that guy from SpongeBob that's like, I wake up every day with glass bones and paper skin. That's Jack Conklin at this point. Moving on to the end of the fourth round, Isaiah McGuire, a defensive edge out of defensive end, not edge, what the fuck, out of Missouri. I know ball, I promise. I'm just stuttering. Anyways, shut up, Derek. 93 snaps, 8 pressures, 2 sacks, 4 tackles, 20% missed tackle rate. Not bad in limited appearances. I'd like to see that missed tackle rate get cleaned up a little bit. He's obviously not going to have a massive role playing as a defensive end with the guys we got, Zadarius Miles, Alex Wright. He's going to be more of a forgotten guy, but there is a place for him in this team on rotation as a rotational piece. And if he can take the next step this season, he might have a long-term future as a second, third option defensive end spot. I can't complain about the pick, honestly, given he's not expected to be a superstar.
Yeah, I love the pick. I loved the pick when we got him. I think he brings an interesting skill set as a pass rusher. I know he didn't play a whole lot this year, but this is a guy that I want to see somehow get on the field more this year. The Browns have a great rotation. Miles, Zadarius, Obo, Alex Wright, and, obviously you have Isaiah Thomas still, but Isaiah McGuire is a guy that I hope gets a chance. I know there's a chance the Browns draft an edge player this year. I don't want us to, unless there's one that's significantly better on the board. I like Isaiah McGuire a lot. I think he deserves the opportunity and deserves a chance because kind of in the same way that Alex Wright has been used in rotation and played at a high level, I think if you give McGuire the snaps, I think he can play at a high level. 93 snaps this past year. Uh, not enough. I want to see him get some more. So, yeah.
So, here's a guy, our next guy. Honestly, a lot of people thought he'd be the backup quarterback for the future for the Cleveland Browns. DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. 112 passing attempts, 60 completions, just over 50% completion percentage, 440 yards, a touchdown, 4 picks, 51.2 passer rating, 65 yards, no TDs, 2 fumbles, pressured 39 times, sacked 6 times. I had a lot of high hope for DTR when he was drafted. I was like, perfect. We have our Deshaun Watson back up. But, when he was called upon this season, he just looked out of place. And maybe that was because, the lights were too bright or you're going against the Ravens in your first career NFL start. I'm not ready to give up on DTR. Regardless of who the Cleveland Browns have brought in, I still think he has potential, whether it's a trade piece, whether it's a, scheme guy, package guy you bring in if you need, you got a 2nd and 6 and you want to run a quarterback draw. Because honestly, and I know this is not going to happen, I would like to see Deshaun Watson run the football less because, God forbid, the guy needs to stay healthy. And this is something we touched on plenty in previous episodes. So I'm not going to get into it again. But I'm not ready to give up on DTR. Derek, I don't know if you are, but I still have high hopes for the guy.
Yeah, I was a huge, huge fan of the DTR pick. He's a guy who is a veteran college football quarterback, set records at UCLA, played well in the preseason, and yeah, it's the preseason. But listen, I was there for his first start. 2-hour notice against the Baltimore Ravens. I was there. It was ugly. It was not pretty. How much of that do you put on DTR? Because I don't put a lot of it. and it's not even really anybody's fault because Stefanski, how do you make it easy for a rookie 5th-round quarterback? And you don't know that he's starting. You really can't. And then when he played later on against the Steelers, you win that game against the Broncos. I thought, before he got hurt, I thought he was playing okay. So, listen, I'm not ready to give up on DTR at all. I think to me, coming out, I thought he was a mix of like a Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, just not as good of a passer and not as good of legs as far as like Kyler goes. But he's got a talent. He's a talented quarterback if you develop him. Um, it's tough because Tyler Huntley was a Pro Bowler last year. You signed Jameis to be your backup. I don't know where he fits on the roster. I hope he stays around because all in all, I think he will be a successful quarterback in the NFL in some form or fashion, whether if that be backup, whatever. So I want to keep him around. I don't know. I don't know if it happens, but kind of feel
So
bad.
yeah, I agree. He was kind of rushed into it in that first start. That was a shitty situation with the way it was handled by the team and Watson and everything. With Watson opting out of the game, caught like an hour, 2 hours before the game. Little known, well, maybe not little known fact anymore. DTR was actually the backup to Tate Martell at Bishop Gorman High School in Nevada. And look at that. DTR has gone on to have a much more successful career than Tate Martell. Tate Martell wasn't even good to crack a starting quarterback spot at what,
Mm-hmm.
4 different colleges? Like I said, not ready to give up on DTR. Anyways, to shift back to the defensive side of the football, Cam Mitchell out of Northwestern, little under 300 snaps, 29 targets, but he allowed 21 receptions and just over 200 receiving yards, 2 TDs, 2 breakups, 117 passer rating, 2 pressures, 1 sack, 15 tackles, 16% missed tackle rate. Kind of a guy that was forced into action, unfortunately, because of injuries, but I think he could be okay in the future. I'm not ready to, throw the towel in on Cam Mitchell either. He's just got to get a little bit better at coverage at the cornerback position. He's got to learn to get some more pass breakups, get some picks, stop allowing so many catches. I think he could be decent as a rotation piece. One thing I would, if we trade any of our cornerbacks, like everyone's been saying is going to happen for the last year and a half, I really hope it's not Cam Mitchell that gets more snaps. I hope we bring someone else in. I hope people can stay healthy. But yeah, it's kind of an unfortunate situation. This is a guy that was forced into action thanks to several injuries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Cam Mitchell a lot. I think he is going to be good. You got to understand the type of player he is. He's not a Ward or an Emerson where he's going to be on the outside, or Newsom for that matter, where he's just going to be able to be relied on for everything. He's a slot physical corner. And I thought he held his own. When he came in and played, I thought he held his own. I thought he looked good for the most part. Um, in this offseason, I think he could develop and another year, or I should say another offseason in the playbook. Jim Schwartz,
Yeah.
I think he could play at a high level. And so much so that I would be comfortable trading Newsom. I think if you do that, you just have Cam Mitchell and then another guy rotate, and that other guy can be a drafted corner. It's really not all that hard. But I think he's going to be good. I think he is. And AB's proven that he knows corners. And so far, I would say 100% hit rate, right? Because who's all he's
Yeah.
drafted? Newsom, Emerson. Is there anybody else? Mitchell.
No. Delpit, maybe? No, I don't
No,
think so.
Delpit. No. Delpit was.
No. Dorsey.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not ready to give up on Cam Mitchell, but I do think he needs another year of development for sure. So the last pick of our draft was Luke Whippler, center out of Ohio State. Only 57 snaps and 2 pressures allowed, no sacks. He's not going to play much. It's a guy that's not really going to be called upon unless, God forbid, people start getting injured again. I can't really judge him. He's a late 6th round pick. I mean, there's not much to really be said.
Listen, he's a guy who was a key piece on that Ohio State offensive line, and a lot of people thought he came out too early, which again, this is a very young player, and when he has played, I feel like he's held his own on
Oh
that
yeah, he's been
offensive
good.
line.
He's been good when he's played, but I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to be called upon much next season.
No, so that's the thing. He's not going to play, and I would say after this season, maybe he gets an opportunity to become the starter. Um, but in rotation, if somebody goes down, and honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing him play some at guard too. If one of Teller or
I'd be okay
Batonio
with
get
that.
hurt, he's talented. He's very talented, young player. Sucks that Bill Callahan ain't here anymore because he's a guy that I saw thriving with Bill Callahan. But all in all, we don't know. But in the little time that we've seen of Luke Whippler, he's been really good. So, pretty good. So, do you want to take the
Absolutely.
next segment or do you want me to do it?
Our favorite segment, actually.
The
Honky of the
segment.
Week. Honky of the Week is back. Who is our Honky of the Week this week, Derek? It's you, isn't it, unfortunately, because I don't know. I don't know why you do the things that you do, but explain to everybody why you're the Honky of the Week and why you have ice on your hand right now, Derek.
Yeah. Well, I think God has a sense of humor, and I think he looked at me and the masses of the fans here talking and laughing about Randy from Speedway, the oranges, the sprinkles, all these different stories that have been brought to you guys. Something was bound to happen to me. Well, unfortunately, today on my way home from work, I had a scare where I'm not even bullshitting. I thought my car was going to catch on fire. Like, there was at one point where I was like, oh, this doesn't sound good. So I whipped around into the Home Depot, and, normally my car makes this weird noise every once in a while. It's and that'll get clipped. But normally I'll shut it off for like 3 minutes, let it kind of cool down, and then it's fine. Like it back to perfectly normal. Can't explain it. Tony, I know you wouldn't understand because you don't have a car.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Tell me damn story.
But so I let it sit, was on my phone, trying not to freak out, just trying to calm down, be like, all right, it'll be fine, just give it a second. Turn it back on. Shut it back off. Shit, still messed up. Well, give it a little bit. Same thing. So I got to the point where I was pissed off. I'm like, I need to get home. So I popped my hood and didn't even cross my brain, right? I was pissed off. I was trying to figure out what the problem was, and I popped my hood and I went to like lean on my car to like put my hands down to like look in the engine and see if I can see anything out of place. I don't know cars that well. I wish I did, but fatherless. And I was trying to figure out like what the problem was. Like I was trying to figure out if anything looked. Breathe, Tony. Breathe. I was trying to figure out. I was trying to figure out if anything looked out of place. If there was anything that I could see and be like, oh, that looks wrong. That looks like it's going to explode. And see if I can figure it out. Because, at some point in your life, you got to take life by the balls and figure it out. And that's what I was trying to do with my car. And, yeah, I don't know what exactly I put my hand on, but these fingers here on my other hand got absolutely fucking scorched. And
Can you show the loyal thing?
I mean, I can't. I don't know if you're going to really be able to see it that well. You can see they look kind of fucked up, but you can't really see the burns that well on camera. But dude, I felt like Anakin Skywalker after that because, man, I got in my car and I was like, because now think about it. I had two problems. One, I don't know if my fucking car is going to blow up on my way home. And two, I have second-degree burns and I'm like, I need to get home. So, thank God my car started working like it was supposed to. I sped home and, yeah. So basically, it hurts like a motherfucker. And I've been doing this whole podcast literally like this, holding ice in my hand, because the minute the ice is gone, feels like I got a lighter right to my hand. So that wraps it up this week. We will see if I have a hand. It's already like starting to blister. And it's at the most inconvenient spot, because the worst of it is like right like on the side of it, you know? So like when you bend your finger, that's all blistered, and I want to die. I want to die. But anyways, next week we'll have more NFL news discussions talking about it. We're thinking about doing a mock draft, so if you watch all the way to the end, send it in the comments. Let us know if you want to see that. Probably gonna end up doing it anyway, if I'm being honest. We got to talk about something. So Keon Coleman at 54 it is. All right, everybody. That's it.
Peace.
Yeah, anything else?
I don't have anything to add. Go Browns. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. 2OneFits.com. Check out College Football Dogs. Pro Football Dogs coming soon. We're in the, I don't know, I'd say the third stretch run of the season being upon us. We will, draft is over. Then we got camp, and then we got, the rest of the preseason. Then we finally got football. It is mid-April, guys. We are not far away from Cleveland Browns football and disappointment and being drunk at 10 a.m. in the Mooney Lot. Can't wait. See you next week.